Hello cherry lovers, today I have an exciting, delicious chicken broccoli cheese casserole. You're going to love it. Stay tuned. Okay guys, let's get started. The very first thing you want to do is to preheat your oven to 350. Okay, now that that's preheating, I'm going to be using my glass dish and I buttered it. You can spray it with non-stick oil if you like, or grease it with some oil or whatever you like, but I like to taste the butter, so I grease that with butter. Now we're going to go through the ingredients. Real simple, and this is just a very good recipe, and you can combine everything in one pot once you get everything to the place where you want it to be. Right here we have here 2 tablespoons of butter, and here you're going to have 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts chopped into bite-sized pieces, or 2 cups. And here you're going to have 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and you're going to use your salt and pepper to your own taste. And then here we have 2.5 cups of chicken broth, and you will need 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Over here you will need 1 1/4 cup of rice, and here you have 2 cups of broccoli. Now with the broccoli, these are broccoli florets. You can use frozen broccoli. It would work just as well as the regular non-cooked broccoli. Also here we have 1 10.5 ounce can of cream of chicken soup. Now if you don't have cream of chicken soup, let me just say this real quick. You can actually make your own cream of chicken soup. When I first tried this recipe, I didn't have any cream of chicken soup. So I just quickly looked up a recipe and I made my cream of chicken soup myself. This is homemade and it tastes so much better. It's really good. So if you don't have any, you can make your own. And this right here is a 1/2 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of sour cream. And here you have 2 cups of cheddar cheese. I'm using Colby Jack. I've used this before. It tastes just as good. But you want to have your 2 cups separated. 1 cup here and 1 cup here. Now, those are all of our ingredients. We've got our oven started to be preheated, and we've got our baking dish buttered. So we're going to get started. Okay, guys. Now I have the boneless, skinless chicken breast cut up into pieces. One thing I wanted you to know is that as you can see, this chicken has been seasoned. So you want to take your chopped up pieces and you want to sprinkle your Italian seasoning and then your salt and pepper to taste. I've already done that on mine. And now we're going to pop the butter in and we're going to let that melt. And once that is melted, we're going to put the chicken pieces in and we're going to let the chicken pieces brown for about 5 minutes on each side. And then we're going to go on from there. So I'm going to let this butter melt and then I'll be back to show you. Okay guys, I've added the chicken to the butter and you want to put your temperature around medium, not high, but medium high. On my stove that registers around 7. And you're going to let this cook. I'm set my timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and then you flip it over and you let it cook for 5 more minutes until it's lightly brown, and then I'll be back to show you the rest of the recipe. Okay guys, this has been cooking now for 5 minutes on the one side, and we just want to flip it over and brown the other side for an additional 5 minutes. As you can see, that's browning up nicely. And it doesn't have to be completely brown. Just remember that when you put this in the oven, it's going to cook a little bit further, so you don't have to completely cook the chicken. That don't have to be your biggest concern, cooking the chicken right now, because it will cook further once it's put into the oven. So we've got that flipped over. And now we're going to let that cook. Set my timer for an additional 5 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you how to assemble the rest of it. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to do now that we've cooked our chicken 5 minutes on each side is to put it back into the plate. As you can see, I've already washed this plate out. Don't put it back on the same plate with the uncooked chicken. And then you just want to remove your chicken pieces to the plate. And once you get this to this plate, you're going to set that aside, and then we're going to add a few more of our ingredients. scoop up a little more of those. Oh, that chicken smells so good, and it's nicely browned. And now the next thing you're going to do, set that aside. I'm going to add in your chicken broth, and then we're going to add in a tablespoon of the olive oil. And then you're going to stir in the rice. Give that a mix. You're going to bring this to a boil. We're going to bring that up so it can come to a quick boil. And once that comes to a boil, I have my lid here. We're going to place the lid on the pot so that it's secure. And then we're going to let this boil. Once it comes to a boil, remember, reduce the heat to simmer. And then put the lid on it and let it cook for 6 minutes. And after 6 minutes, I'll be back and I'll show you how to add the rest of the recipe. Okay guys, the next step is very simple. You're going to add in your broccoli. Just kind of spread that out. And then you're going to cover it and let it continue to simmer for 9 more minutes. And it's just that simple. And then I'll be back to show you the rest. Okay guys, the next step is very simple as well. I want you to take a look at this. As you can see, the longer it sits, the more it absorbs the water from the rice and the more the rice cooks. But the next thing that you're going to do here is very simple also. You're going to put that lid back on. You're going to turn your eye off. Turn your eye off. Remove it from the eye and let it sit for an additional 10 minutes. We're going to set the timer for 10 minutes and then I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay guys, now this is set for the 10 minutes. I wanted to remind you, as you can see, I just laid the broccoli on top of the rice when I put that lid back on it and let it sit for another 9 minutes before the 10 minutes. So just let it sit. Don't stir it up when you add the broccoli. You just let it sit on top. Now the 10 minutes is by, like I said, that's gone by. Now we're going to add in our chicken. And we're going to add in your condensed cream of mushroom soup, and you will be stirring that, just getting that started. And then you're going to add in your milk, and then we're going to add in the sour cream, okay, let's give that a bit of a stir, get that going. Oh, that smells so good. Okay, and the next thing we're going to add in is our 1 cup of cheese. Okay, and we're going to give that a mix. Get that mixed in there thoroughly. Try to get it mixed throughout. Oh, this is a delicious meal. You're not going to regret making this. It's delicious. It tastes good. It's easy to make. And it won't have to be in the oven all day. It's really good. Okay, now you got that mixed up. The very next step we want to do, move this over here. I got my casserole dish. It's already set and ready. And then we're going to pour this, and you don't forget to grease your casserole dish. We're going to empty this right into the dish. It's all mixed up. Okay, and at this point, before I poured it in there, I should have said this part, and that is to taste it. Taste test it and see if you have enough pepper and salt in there. So I'm going to taste this just to make sure. That is so good. Yes, And the salt and pepper that I added to the chicken is perfect. Now that we've got that all mixed up, our last step for the cooking is to sprinkle on top your cheese. This is the other cup of cheese that you separated, your second cup. You just want to generously top your casserole. As much as possible, try to get the edges so that it doesn't spill on the stove like I'm doing. Okay. And this is one of Larry's favorites. He really liked this. And my daughter Ashley, oh, I think she ate it 3 days in a row when I cooked it the last time. Now, you got that already ready. The last step before we pop it in the oven is to cover it. You want to cover it with some foil. Seal the edges up real good. And let's see. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. We're going to pop it in the oven. Believe it or not, it only takes 15 minutes. Because you did a lot of cooking on top of the stove. So you pop that in the oven. We're going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And then we're going to come back and let Larry taste test it. Right, Larry? Okay, guys, our 15 minutes is up. It is time to take it out of the oven. Okay. And we're going to remove the covering carefully. Okay. Let's turn that off. Oh, that looks so delicious. And we're going to put it on a plate and taste test it. Okay, guys, guess what? I'm your taste tester today. And I've made this before, and it is just, so delicious. I think that the Italian seasoning just sets this to a whole new game. If you've ever questioned about making rice and broccoli before, this is the recipe to try. Because I was never big on rice and broccoli because I just didn't like the taste, the flavor. But this Italian seasoning, I think, sets it apart from the rest. This is so delicious. So, if you get a chance, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. We really do appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day.